So I have a social media agency doing around 17K a month purely off of the back of UpWork. And I want to just talk about whether I think if it's still worth it or not for new people to get into UpWork in 2024 for their social media agency, or if you're a freelancer, obviously for freelancers too. And the short answer is yes. Yes, it is definitely still worth it. If that's all you wanted to hear, you can leave the video right now. But if you want to know the details, I'm going to be answering questions like how much you can expect clients to pay, some issues you might have to deal with, how quickly you can get a client, all that kind of like frequently asked questions when it comes to wondering if Upwork is still worth it. I'm going to be saying this through my perspective, right? So I started off as a freelancer myself. I wanted to make money online, try drop shipping, I don't know, Amazon FBA, website. I tried everything, right? And what really changed the trajectory of my success, because I was barely making like a couple hundred, maybe $1,000 a month before I started doing all this and before I was really leveraging Upwork to the maximum leverage, I guess. But once I discovered Upwork, and at the time also when I was doing this like a year ago, 2 years ago when I was first starting out, a lot of people were saying like, don't go on Upwork if you want a SMMA, if you want your social media marketing agency to succeed, because the clients are too cheap. You're not going to do, it's not going to work out. You can't scale your business off Upwork. And then one day I watched Graham Stephan's videos, right? Graham Stephan, very popular finance YouTuber. One thing he talks about is how he started in his real estate career. And one thing that he did in his real estate career was he was going for the lowest of the clients. So in real estate, as an agent, what you want to do is you want to sell big houses that are expensive because you get a commission from it, right? Let's say it's like a 5% commission. You sell $1 million house, you get $50,000 as a commission. I think that math is correct. But when you're first starting off as a real estate agent, you're not going to just be able to sell these $1 million houses. So what Graham Stephan did was he was selling leases for rentals. Rental leases, you get a much smaller commission. Graham said the reason he was targeting people who wanted these leases was because he knew that if he can build their relationship up from the very, very beginning, eventually these people will want to buy a house in the area. So he was trying to work with locals who were just trying to move temporarily somewhere, get a lease, and nobody else in the office wanted to take them. He was like, I'll take them up. I'm not going to get paid a lot of money. It's probably not going to be worth my time financially, but I know down the line, this is how I'm going to build my brand and build my list of clients that I have that I can eventually leverage to, and then whenever they're ready to buy a house, I'll be there and they'll know me as the guy to go to buy a house. So I took that to Upwork and I said, all right, I'm just going to work with the smallest clients that I can. Doesn't really matter. And let me look at this through the lens of like, I'm taking like almost like a corporate ladder, right? But this is like the freelancer ladder or entrepreneur ladder, right? Let me start off from the bottom, build my portfolio, and then start adding more services, learn how I can even be more valuable to these clients, and then kind of like, stack my skill sets, I guess. Skill stacking, I think is what it's called, right? So I took what I learned from Graham, right? Working with the people that are at the bottom and then kind of building your way up, right? Skill stacking specifically for me, because I started off just kind of video editing. I had shiny object syndrome, right? I tried Facebook ads, Google ads, whatever. Eventually I decided, let me do, short form content was really hot at the moment. Let me try just being a short form content video editor, built my portfolio doing that. And then, long story short, I built a team around it and now I'm doing 17K a month. I don't really work too many hours when it comes to actually inside the business because I have people in the team that are taking care of the day-to-day stuff. I take care of more of like the overview strategy for clients and also the future endeavors that we're currently trying to get into. That's not, has nothing to do with this video. So, let's just get right into the video then. Let's get into the meat of this, right? So the first thing to consider is, do you need an existing skill? I imagine a lot of beginners are watching this who maybe don't have any skills yet and they're just trying to figure out like, what is the best way to make money online? What's the fastest way to make money online? We've all been. Now the thing is, look, yes, you do need a skill, okay? I think there are other people online who will tell you, hey, you don't need a skill. You don't need to know how to run Facebook ads. You don't need to know how to do video editing. You don't need to know how to do anything because you can just hire someone else to take care of it for you. And this is true. You could do that. But when you're first starting off, you need to leverage your own hard work. You need to be able to make sure that in case your editor or your Facebook ads manager or your team members don't, live up to the expectations that you set for the client, you got to hop in there and take care of that because, otherwise the client's not going to work with you, right? So that's really, really important to consider is also the people who are good at what they do usually don't need more work. It's just like they have limited capacity, So the really, really good Facebook ads guys, the really good video editors, they're not even in the market. They already have full-time jobs because, they've already established themselves. So when it comes to hiring team members and building your team, you either want to find someone who doesn't have any skill set and train them up, or B, get really lucky and just find someone who, is maybe just starting off in their career and they have a few openings, or maybe they just recently quit another job and they have this really, really good skill set that they're really good at what they do, and you just happen to be in the right place at the right time, and you can afford to pay them. Now, from the very beginning though, I don't recommend really doing that. You got to find someone who is mediocre at what they do. Mediocre seems like a rude word to say, but they got to be they got to be a little bit better than you, in my opinion, but you should still be the one that is taking the lead when it comes to the strategy, so that way you can be a results-oriented operator. That's the only way I've been able to grow this. If I was a sales-oriented operator, dude, my Upwork profile would be trash, my ratings would be trash, no one would, my portfolio would probably be trash as well, and so I wouldn't have these relationships that I do now with my clients, and I wouldn't have the case studies that I have right now, and my profile wouldn't have, a 100% success score. I have like all these great ratings on there, which really helps you when you're trying to get more clients. In the very beginning though, you don't have any ratings, but that's completely fine. What you can do is do some jobs for people that you know in real life. Be like, yo, can you hey, friend Bob, please help me. I want to get into graphic design, or I want to get into video editing and create a portfolio. Can you hire me on Upwork to make a video for your business, or just to make it edit for you? That way I can showcase to people that I am actually helping people do this, and this is something that I'm capable of doing. So that's one kind of workaround for that. And if Bob's like, dude, why would I hire you, man? I don't even need to, I don't need a video right now. What do you mean? Just be like, dude, I'll pay you. All right. I think this is probably against Upwork terms of service though, so be careful when you're doing this, right? Or just keep your mouth shut. But you can tell Bob, dude, hire me for $50. I'll give you the $50. You just have to, we'll do a little thing. And then as long as you're not lying, okay, just don't lie, and just don't take someone else's video on YouTube and then post it as your portfolio. And then you have someone, leaving you a review saying oh, this guy did a great job editing this video. Nah, man, if you lie, you're building a house on cards, right? Or a house on sand. Look, it's going to come back and bite you in the ass, okay? That's what's going to happen. So you don't want to do that. You want to try and stay honest. You need to genuinely provide value and genuinely help people if you want to grow a business long term, especially in today's ecosphere where everyone is kind of starting their own agency, starting their own freelance hustle. A lot of people also say that it's saturated, but if I'm being honest, it's 50-50 true, okay? Yes, it is saturated, but it's saturated with people that are mediocre at what they do. They're not really that great. They don't really try that hard, right? Where it's unsaturated is the people who genuinely want to provide their clients a really good experience and a really good product and a good service. So as long as you're willing to do that, then it's not saturated. You'll grow over time, and you'll see everyone else just kind of either stay the same or drop off and hop onto a different niche and different services or whatever, right? So the next thing here is, how effective is Upwork for finding social media marketing clients or social media management clients compared to other platforms? I tried freelancer.com. I tried Fiverr for a little bit. I tried Facebook groups, stuff like that. I think I dove a little bit into Reddit forums, but honestly, I didn't really give that too much of a shot. I also did cold IG DMs. I did cold calling for a little bit. I tried a lot of stuff. Now, looking back at it where I am now, I definitely didn't try hard enough. I shouldn't even mention that I did cold calls, because if I'm being honest, I only tried it out for a few days and I was like, dude, this sucks. I hate this. I hate sales calls. I hate all of that. But this is another reason why I like Upwork too, is by the time you get on a sales call, it's not even a sales call. If you do it properly, then it's more of an introduction call. They already see your profile and your portfolio, and you can convince them through the chat messages that you are the person to help them out. And then by the time you're on the sales call, you're just really getting to know each other, and they're gonna pay you money, and you guys are gonna continue working together. When it comes to actually finding social media marketing clients compared to these other platforms, it is way easier to find them compared to other platforms, okay? It is just, first of all, these people are actually interested in working with you, so it's not like a cold email or cold calls or any cold outreach where you're saying hey, just in case you're interested, I have this service available. No, it's yo, instead, what you're doing is you're reaching out to people who are saying, I need help with this, somebody help me. And then out of all the people that are, saying, hey, I can help you, you just need to be the one to stand out. Your portfolio needs to be in the top percentage, right? And like I said earlier, it really isn't saturated if you're genuinely trying to help people and genuinely providing a good service, and you're really interested in being good at what you do. To give you guys an idea, I would say before Upwork, I struggled, I think, man, I don't even know how much money I spent on cold outreaching softwares to try and send cold DMs, hiring team members to send cold DMs, VAs, and then not only that, but the actual time it takes to send out the DMs, get on meetings with people that are iffy, deal with people who are tire kickers or just expecting you to work for $2 an hour. Spent a lot of time. And then once I started on Upwork though, I got my first client within my first week. It was so easy. And this was also me not being as optimized as I am right now. I had barely any ratings. I actually had a couple, I think I had 1 or 2 bad ratings too, which really sucked because like I said, I was listening to these gurus, and a lot of times they don't actually, I don't even know what it is, man. Maybe they just have a different philosophy of like how they want to approach business, but it's more risky on the client side, because when you say to a client like, hey, I can help you with Facebook ads, but then you outsource it to someone immediately and you don't even know how to run Facebook ads yourself, I mean, it's like a recipe for failure, dude. It sounds really easy on paper, but when you try to actually do it in person, unless you get really, really lucky, then it's probably not going to work out. So in summary, yes, Upwork is really good at finding social media marketing and social media management clients. Now, what types of social media marketing projects are commonly available on Upwork? This is a really good question, right? I would say definitely a lot of Facebook ad opportunities. A lot of people need help with that. A lot of people need help with not as much, but I would say websites as well. Some people need help with websites on there. I see that all the time. Definitely video editing, really big for video editing, and as well as graphic design, social media management as well. A lot of people need social media management, social media growth. So if you're in kind of those niches, then I would say it's definitely worth trying out Upwork. And that's only because since I'm, seeing and looking through the job posts almost every single day. Well, right now, one of our team members is taking care of it, but I'm still looking once in a while to see kind of the current landscape, and obviously they have to report to me and say like how many jobs they were able to find, what kind of jobs there were. So based on that, that's why I would say that. Now, if you're looking for, I would say if you're doing, I don't know, any other service that I didn't really mention, like let's say you're doing landing page optimization, I'm sure you can find there 100% there are people who need help with that, but it's just not as common. So that's why I say that. Now, on Upwork, one of the biggest things that people complain about is they say that the clients are too cheap and it's not worth it. So is that the case? I mean, yes and no. There are different types of clients on Upwork, right? And it might take you a little bit longer to find a high ticket client, but that's kind of the case for anything. Even if you're doing cold outreach, it's still the same thing. Like most people want the cheapest product possible and they're not willing to spend a lot of money. So on Upwork, that's just kind of one thing you have to deal with. And as you build your portfolio, like I said, it's really like a corporate ladder, right? You have to start from the bottom. So when I started, I was working for less than $15 an hour, pretty much. Minimum wage here in California is $15 an hour. So I was making way less than that. Actually, I don't even know if I can calculate. My first client from Upwork was the Facebook ads client, and I was charging them, I think, $500 a month. And I was also paying a media buyer, I think $300 a month. And with the $200 a month, I was doing a lot of work, man. So I was probably getting paid like $3 an hour. I don't know, it was ridiculous. But that's just what you have to do when you're building your portfolio. Now, the clients that I have and that I find through Upwork, I mean, they've paid me up to even like $5,000 to $6,000 to $7,000 a month per client. So I mean, yeah, I guess there are really low paying clients on Upwork, but there are also really high paying clients on Upwork. I've had Upwork clients who, they are really, really picky with how much you're billing them, what exactly you're billing them for, all that. And then I have the other clients who are just like, yeah, send me the invoice, I'll get it taken care of. Thank you for helping me out. So as long as your portfolio is good, then you can find high ticket clients on Upwork for sure. Although I must admit, I don't think Upwork is the best for maybe creating an entire high ticket agency per se. I'd say it's more of a good platform, like a stepping stone, like I keep, saying the ladder analogy, but it's a good ladder, right? So you want to build up your base of making your first, 6 figures with Upwork, and then maybe taking that into trying out running ads, because running ads for yourself and for your own service would be probably the most predictable way of actually getting clients. But first, you don't have the money for ads. If you don't know how to run it, then Upwork is really great for getting your first 6 figures. Now, what are some specific strategies when it comes to trying to get clients on Upwork and the good clients on Upwork? Well, here's a strategy. You have to create a personal brand on Upwork. Okay, that's just the only way that I've found to have really quick success, or relative to what I was doing before. What I mean by that is your profile has a place for a description, it has a place for a portfolio, and it has a place for past clients that you've worked with. Okay, and it also obviously has the profile picture so people can see who you are, and you can even incorporate a video into your portfolio or into your profile. I mean, so when people click on your Upwork page, they say Akash Conver, they see the welcome video that I have there, they have my description, and they can read pretty much how I help my clients, what I've done, and they can see in my portfolio all the videos that we've helped clients with, screenshots of social media growth and the analytics growth from before working with us to after working with us. So this is like a personal brand. And not only that, but the really, really important part is the video. So the video you have to treat as like an elevator pitch, and you're presenting yourself in a way where you want these clients to trust you and work with you. So you have to look good in the video. I don't mean you have to look like a supermodel. What I mean to say is you have to make sure that you're presentable on video. You have to make sure you're presenting your information in a certain way, kind of selling yourself and explaining to why. Because here's the thing, people, they're not just wanting to buy the end product and the transformation. It is true. Definitely that's 80 to 90% of what they're buying for. But there is a little bit also of your own personality, if they see that this person truly has passion and they have a lot of knowledge in what they they do, it gives them a little bit more trust, I guess, when it comes to getting on the sales call and agreeing to work with you. So that's kind of what I do. There's a few other techniques. I would say some strategies are being consistent with outreach. Is that a strategy? Maybe not. Maybe that's not a strategy, but you do have to be very consistent with outreach. What I've noticed is from this time that we start with outreach, like let's say, we have a space open for a new client and we start doing outreach, I would say typically after 2 weeks is when it starts compounding and you really start to get a lot of meetings and a lot of people responding to you from, even like 2 weeks ago to some people even this week responding to you. So it starts really adding up after the 2 week mark. So just keep that in mind too. Oh, and one thing I forgot to mention is also specializing. Okay. So that's the whole thing about personal branding, is also what is your specialty? What is your niche that you're helping with? And I don't mean niche as in, saying like I only work with dentists, or I mean your service niche. For Upwork, you have to be a little bit more broad when it comes to maybe once you're a little bit more solidified, once you're a little bit more established, you can select a niche and then only select like one industry to work with. But what I mean to say is, what is your service? So if you're a Facebook ads agency, or if you're a video editor, then you want to say like, what do you specialize in? Do you specialize in YouTube videos, TikTok videos, Instagram videos? Do you specialize in all of them, right? So you can say social media video editor, vlogs, podcasts, and short form content, right? So that way when people see your profile or when people are clicking on your application, they can see that, okay, this guy specializes in exactly what I need. I have a podcast and I also want to start a blog and I also want to start doing short form content. So that's really important, and you have to make sure your portfolio reflects that, okay? So if you're saying like you do, long form content edits, you better have some really good long form content edits inside of your portfolio. Same goes with ads too. So as I said earlier, when I first started working on Upwork and started getting clients from it, it took me around 2 weeks to get my first client. And that was with me not really doing too much outreach. Like I was dealing with severe laziness, man. Like I didn't know how hard you had to work. I didn't really know what hard work was, I guess. And I was really struggling with my own consistency, which is why, nowadays I have a team member that takes care of that, because that is their full-time job pretty much, just making sure they stay consistent with it so I can work on other stuff in the business and expanding. But it took me 2 weeks, okay? Now, originally what I wanted to do, and as you guys know, or if not, I have a free program, Agency Go. It's a free community as well as a free course teaching you how to use Upwork as well as Instagram and some other things to try and get your first few clients online. And when I was creating that program, by the way, it's completely free. If you want it, Instagram DM me at Akash Kanvara and I'll give you access to it. So when I was creating that program, I needed to test out, okay, this worked for me, but what if it doesn't work for other people? So what I did was I had my friend Jimmy and I told him, hey man, he quit his job or he got fired or whatever. His job didn't work out and he needed some more work. So I told him like, yo, follow these steps right here and then let's see how quick you can get a client. And he followed the steps that I had. He started doing outreach and he got his first client in 3 days of doing outreach. And I think within the first week or two, he got 3 clients. So if you do it properly, Upwork is extremely lucrative, especially as a beginner. Now, once you get bigger in business, then it's probably not going to be worth your time. But as a beginners, man, this is seriously, it's a gold mine. Like it still is. Yeah, that's one success story that I have. Obviously, a lot of people, there are so many more success stories. There are people who make a full living off of Upwork. And what I mean by that is they're a solo freelancer and they get all their clients through Upwork. They keep all the contracts on Upwork, even considering Upwork's fees, which is actually, I think, a good place to wrap up the video, which is, how do the fees kind of affect your ability to make money on Upwork? It's really annoying. Upwork is continuously increasing their fees. So right now there's a flat 10% fee. And before it sucked actually. Before, for the first $500 that you made with a client, they would actually take 20%. And then after that, they would take 10%. Right now there's a flat 10% fee, but it's still, 10% is a good amount when you're first starting off or just for any business. So a lot of people also take their clients and maybe they work the first month or the first project on Upwork. And after that, they tell them like, hey, can I just directly invoice you instead? And can we just work off the platform so I can save that 10%? So, even though Upwork has its fees, like just, pay it, get it over with. It's really not that big of a deal. It does suck for connects now, because connects are basically like tokens you can think of. And in order to apply to each project, you need a certain amount of tokens. On average, for me, I've noticed that it's costs, like when you average it out at the end of the month, it costs around $1 to $2 per project that they're applying to. May seem like a really big commitment, but if you want a serious chance, like if this is, in my opinion, the highest success rate platform that you can have, as long as you know what you're doing, as long as you're establishing yourself correctly, you're following the Agency Go course and everything that I mentioned in the course, right? Then you'll have the highest chance of success with this. You can really build up your initial skills. You can build up your initial knowledge when it comes to running a business, operating a business, hiring other people, dealing with clients, you know, what your best price points are, how to pretty much all the things that you need to do initially when you're first starting off. And that way, when you have the opportunity to move on to even higher ticket opportunities, you're already good to go. You're skill stacked. You can tell people, yeah, I've already been doing this. Look how fat my portfolio is. So Upwork is a great platform. Try it out. And if you need help with it, then I do have Agency Go. It's a free course and free community. I also have a private one-on-one mentorship for people who want that, but it's not anything like everything that I teach in the mentorship is in the free community, just for people who want a more one-on-one, like guaranteed way, because I also guarantee that you get a client or I keep working with you for free until you do. That's how confident I am in this working out for you. Check out the free community, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and I'll see you in the next video.